Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Teo here, back with some more DC Day. We are currently being chased by Wilhelm and Rusalka, but we are putting up a better fight against them than our human demeanor would perhaps initially indicate. Although, again, there was some hint that it was not actually us, it was Kasumi was doing the all the killing and whatnot. That seems altogether unlikely. Like, I was toying around with that as a theory, and the more I thought about it, the less I liked it, so... Still pretty sure it's us, but the one female pronoun a few lines ago threw me off. Wilhelm and Rusalka commenced their pursuit once again, the regenerating wounds emitting red smoke. Not a trace remained of the carnage and destruction that took place upon the bridge. The dozens of citizens killed tonight would no doubt be dismissed as simply having gone missing. Normal people, by nature, couldn't hope to comprehend inhuman principles. Nor could they understand its suffering. It's cold, freezing, and it hurts. Its thoughts scattered into disorder, left at the mercy of a torrent of negative emotions. Like someone caught drowning in a venomous ocean's whirlpool. In the end, it could no longer maintain its sanity. Or rather, where did sanity end and insanity begin? If the ability to restrain oneself was the sole determining factor, then one had no choice but to say that it had been insane from the start. It wasn't driven by a desire to kill. It didn't wish to, but neither could it stop. Why was that? It could no longer distinguish between the objective and the subjective, almost like it possessed multiple heads. It was freezing, and it hurt. Tremendously so. No doubt a natural result of having been submerged in the cold winter waters, yet... By the time its face broke the water's surface, the pursuer's presence had already faded. It had successfully shaken them off. It began to swim pathetically, panting like a wild beast. There was no longer any feeling in its arms, not due to the cold, but rather that frenzy from earlier, straining its limbs to the extreme. With slender hands that looked like they could barely hurt a fly, it sliced apart numerous people and cars, then fought two others. Although, if Kasumi is the one that is doing the serial killing, then that gives a good reason for the distortion effect on the voice, right? Because if it's just Ben, then there's no need for the distortion on the voice. Like what was playing just now. Like, obviously, it still makes some degree of sense, like, it sounds cool, but the fact that it sounds cool can also be used as, like, camouflage to hide the fact that it's actually hiding the fact that the voice is not the one that we suspect. It vomited up blood. It didn't appear to have external injuries, but the chills that accumulated in its gut, like mud in a ditch, wouldn't go away. Nor did the pain, for that matter, which felt akin to a hot molten chain wrapping around one's legs. Another, thing to note is that they seem to very carefully be avoiding gender pronouns here. Right. Which obviously isn't a feature of the original Japanese text, because Japanese has very few gendered pronouns. So it's always sort of... It stands out when a work has been translated from Japanese to English, but is trying to purposefully hide the gender of somebody that it's referring to, and I'm sort of getting that vibe here. Like, again, the genderless pronouns could be sort of serving to emphasize the sort of sense of bestiality, but, again, could also be used to obscure the fact that it's Kasumi and not Ben that it's referring to. They were all the after effects of its battle from a short while ago. Wilhelm and Rusalka, their attacks had left a curse that smoldered still in its body, leaving it in a state where even swimming proved a toil. Suffering in agony, it pushed its way through waters that felt as heavy as mercury before finally reaching the wharf. Why did the tears refuse to stop, trickling ceaselessly down its cheeks? Were they out of pain, fear, or joy? With the answer nowhere in sight, it clawed up the wharf with enough strength to knock off its nails, creating cracks in the wet concrete. The act went beyond superhuman strength, entering the realm of the outright inhuman. That power whispered. This wasn't enough. Cut, 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 cut. More, 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 more. It crawled its way out of the ocean, laughing as if stimulated by that very voice. This wasn't enough. It had to cut more and more. It had to devour more and more. It had to sacrifice more and more. He needed to get strong. So, she had to pull her weight. She would be his strength. She would help him. Okay, so again we go back to the female pronouns. Although it again sort of hints at Kasumi, but it could still be referring to Marguerite, right? The chick on the beach with the guillotine. But I don't know. Yeah, the more I think about it now, the more like a lot of what it's doing seem to be diversions from the fact if it is Kasumi, then in retrospect, a lot of the diversions they're pulling off make sense with the genderless pronouns and the distorted voice and whatnot. That wish meant everything. She could think of nothing else. But when and why did she begin to think of doing this sort of thing was okay?
なるほど。つまりカドケウス。頭が2つで必要に応じ首から上が切り替わる。そういうからくりだったのですね。すっかり騙されましたが、これで全て説明がつく。問題はどちらが主体なのかですが、あなたはどう思われますか？
さて、正直迷うところですね。
The sickening sound of breaking neck bones. Valeria Trifa wore a faint smile as his companion stomped on the security guard she had knocked out, robbing him of life.
だがどちらにせよ、すぐに答えが出るでしょう。これが彼らの生異物。まだ完全に同化はしてないようですが、それも時間の問題でしょうね。わかりますか？
はい。
The blade of the guillotine on display was now soaked with blood. No doubt it belonged to tonight's victims.
同調が進んでいます。予想より早かったですが、もう餌は足りたということでしょうか。
まあ、ここは11年前、キルヒアイゼン教が倒れた場所でもありますからね。彼女と彼女が集めた魂を上乗せしているのかもしれません。であれば数的な問題はない。これでおそらく一つ目のスワスチカが完成する。殺し役の方は先ほどベイとマレウスが接敵しながら取り逃がしたそうですよ。彼らの性格上素直に言うことを聞くとは思えませんが、こうなると連れ戻した方が良さそうですね。
Huh, so I wonder if the swastikas are related to the Onanerbs then. If like an Onanerb gets enough souls or whatever, that somehow does something. Still not sure what the thing is. Still not sure what exactly the swastikas are for. Like, I was speculating that when all 8 of them get finished, then Mephistopheles shows up, but certainly not set in stone. Although the number 8 for the swastikas makes some degree of sense along those lines, because 13 minus 5 is 8, right? And there were five members of the 13 from the Obsidian Round Table are the one who went in the time travel-y warp thing. The punchy guy, eye patch guy, flame chick, Mephistopheles, and Mercurius, right? So if you need the swastikas to open the gate to the past or whatever, then the number 8 makes a lot of sense, because that's one swastika for every member of the Obsidian Round Table who isn't coming directly from 1945.
では私が。
いえ、ここは私が何とかしましょう。あなたが言っては余計にこじれかねないし。ああ、そんな顔をするものではありませんよ。彼らは優秀な兵士ですが、それゆえに積み上げた年月を誇りに思っているだけです。この60年で副首領閣下を超えたという証を立てるのが何より大事なのでしょう。だから流行る気持ちを抑えられない。まあ、わからないでもありません。何にせよ結構ではないですか。戦いに身を置く者としてその気概は大事です。どのみち競い合いはしなければならないのだし、私はそれを全力で行えるよううまく場を整えるのが仕事です。あなたに手伝わせてしまったのは不徳の致すところですが、それもしばらくの辛抱ですから。ここにスワスチカを完成させ、ハイドリヒ教らを呼び戻す。 副首領閣下もそのために己の代理を使わしているのでしょうし、ここは静観しておきましょう。
Man, if they're just gonna say it outright like that, then, that makes me feel a lot less smart for having figured it out already. Like, if they're gonna just tell me straight up, then they couldn't have been intending to make it very difficult to figure out. But, glad I was correct at least.
術の発動条件が私の予想通りならば、どうせすぐに戦となる。
わかりました。
Kay drew a step back.
でしたらゲイ君、私は事の顛末を見届けてきます。それから、
After throwing a glance at the dead security guard at her feet, she went on in a low tone.
この処理もしておきますので、なるべく自重してください。あなたも本心では暴れたくて仕方がないようですから。
確かに。
The priest freely sounded a chuckle of self-mockery. He then produced a cell phone from his pocket, a truly unsuitable item for this place, and began dialing.
ああ、私です。そちらの様子はどうですか？ええ。はい。なるほど。それは頂上。でしたらあとは。
Noting that her conversation with the priest was over, Kay moved away to pick up the body.
申し訳ありませんがシュピーネ、あなたの裁量でベイとマレウスを抑えてください。私からの命令だと。はい。そういうことで構いませんので。
So Spina had arrived as well. Considering Wilhelm's claim that he'd take another 2 or 3 days, he seemed awfully fast. Still, perhaps that had all been according to the plan. Well, whatever the case.
いよいよきな臭くなってきたわね。
Kay began to walk off, leaving the priest behind to keep talking cheerfully on his phone. She couldn't completely trust Spine, but he would likely stop them if ordered. With Wilhelm and Rusalka temporarily out of the way, this proved to be a favorable opportunity for Kay to act independently. The substitute of Mercurius, vice commander of the Longinus Drazen Orden, it would probably be best for her to confirm its awakening. The clock had struck midnight. If she hurried, she would have just enough time to make it.
約束するよね。
So, what do they mean by, or like, who's the other half? Who are the two halves, I guess I should say, of the Caduceus? Like, I see basically 3 candidates for the Caduceus sections: Kasumi, Margrethe, and Den, right? And it could plausibly be any 2 of the 3, although Den plus Kasumi doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Like, again, then Margrethe seems like the most likely, but yeah, I guess we're about to find out, because this sounds like a flashback to just after Kasumi gives Den the necklace. So, with any luck, we'll see what exactly is going on here. How many hours had it been since I'd hesitated over that question? When I came to, I was lying on a park bench. What happened? Why was I all alone in a place like this? Checking the time, I found that it was already 20 minutes past midnight. 2 hours since I'd last done so. It couldn't be. How did that happen? I forced my brain to operate at full power in an attempt to make sense of the whole situation. Because this is very clearly set up to make us assume that Den is the killer who just fought Wilhelm and Rusalka. But he's in basically the same place, right? So it's also possible that he was just asleep. Like that's all that happened here, and this is a bait and switch, right? I'm gonna sound like a giant nutcase if it turns out that like the sort of level 0 interpretation where Den is just the killer and Kasumi has nothing to do with it. If that ends up being the case, then I'm gonna look like a giant dumbass. But I think the odds are high enough that I'm willing to continue actively considering the possibility. Ah, right.
Kasumi?
Where was she? Looking around, I found the place completely deserted. You had to be kidding me. It was almost like... The moment I attempted to stand, I felt pain akin to an electric current rushing through my entire body. All my muscles creaked for some reason. I honestly had no idea why. It shouldn't have been related to sleep. I mean, it felt like I'd abused my power past its limits. Did that mean I ended up doing the same thing as before? Which meant I robbed Kasumi of her...
いや
It couldn't be true. No, I did no such thing. Like hell I could ever kill Kasumi. She had to be okay. I was certain of it. There was no blood around me, and her screams could wake the dead. I obviously would have been no exception.
そうだ
I'd find her. I don't know why she wasn't here, but it's probably related to the fact I fainted. She must have gone to call for a doctor or something. That had to be it. It wasn't entirely nice of her to leave me all alone in a place like this, but this was all my fault. I'd find her as quick as I could, convince her I was okay, put up with her usual antics and lectures, and then go back home. That was all I had to do. No big deal. We could then return to our usual day-to-day lives. So I had to stand. Shouting that to myself, I spurred my creaking body to stand up. How far could she have gone in the 2.5 hours I had spent blacked out? Despite feeling like I was just about ready to fall over, I started staggering forward. My thoughts were assailed by white noise, my sight scrambled by a sandstorm. My head felt like it could split open. I kept ignoring the creaking in my body, only for my brain to start boiling. Now I couldn't even think straight. What kind of places would Kasumi go to? What were the closest hospital? No, first of all, was there a more efficient way to look for someone? I wasn't in some historical drama. There was no need for me to run around town like a headless chicken in order to find a missing person. Yeah, don't you have like a cell phone? Isn't this the 21st century? Here in the 21st century, we used a simpler and more certain method. So I'd use that right here, right now. Seriously, what kind of dumbass was I to pretend not to know about it? I mean, that made it sound like I was scared of seeing her, right? Although, if Den is the one who just took a little dive off the bridge, it is not inconceivable that his cell phone is not particularly functional right now, due to water damage. I mean, that made it sound like I was scared of seeing her, right? Scared of Kasumi? Seriously? Scared of that stupid and helplessly simple childhood friend I'd grown to treat more like a sister than a woman? We're talking about the same girl who came over every morning to wake me up of her own volition, who'd always cook meals for me that were neither amazing nor inedible, and was both extremely clingy and frank. Why would I ever be scared of seeing someone like her? I was being ridiculous. Absurd. This anxiety was completely unwarranted. I needed just to do it, and get it over with. Enduring the splitting headache, I slowly lifted my still trembling hand. All I had to do was stick that hand in my coat pocket and pull out my cell phone. Then I'd call her and everything would be fine. Hearing her usual lively voice would put an end to all this. So why was I hesitating this much? What was I so scared of? I hadn't harmed Kasumi at all. I would never do that, not even if heaven and earth turned upon themselves. But the fact that it was my instincts, and not my rational mind that was rejecting this, meant that meeting Kasumi would put me, and not her, in danger.
ふざけるな
Agitated by that train of thought, I slammed my forehead into a streetlight with the kind of force that could very well split my head open. Sparks flashed before my eyes, followed by a sensation of lukewarm blood flowing through me. God damn it, so I wasn't just dreaming all this. That shock wiped all the white noise out of me. The sandstorm, too, had begun to vanish due to my blacked-out vision. Calm down. Calm down. I had to calm down, and fast. In any case, my senses had returned to me. The numb pain spread from my forehead to the rest of my body, gradually jolting my bodily functions awake, as I sluggishly reopened my eyes.
Oh.
Rain? Looked like it began to rain at some point. I didn't notice up until now, but my whole body was drenched. I must have been lying here for quite some time. Okay, well that is a major strike against the Kasumi is the serial killer theory. Because if Ren wasn't wet, then that would have been a smoking gun, right? Because whoever the serial killer is, they definitely just jumped off a bridge into the lake. Right. So they are wet, and Ren is also wet. And it's possible that he just didn't notice the rain because he's going crazy, which is that's plausible. So it's possible he was wet beforehand as well, and this is just another piece of sleight of hand on the author's part, but I think the Occam's razor states at this point that it's probably just he's a serial killer. Like, I'm clinging onto this Kasumi theory probably harder than I really should be. I gripped my cell phone and began to reflect as the rainfall cooled my seething brain. I've been through many strange things over the past couple of days. The relationship between the nightmares and the killer, the guillotine, severed heads, splattering blood. Though I witnessed someone getting killed, there was no blood covering my surroundings. Strange. Objectively, it lacked any sense of reality, like I was watching a movie. It was an uncomfortable sensation, like I was looking through someone else's eyes. What was Kasumi Ayase doing during that time? Dropping tableware, a morning where she was usually understanding. Her natural training regiment, The destroyed training dummy, the bent bamboo sword, her dumbfounded face, her violent behavior, physical strength that no woman could exhibit, slender arms only a woman could have, the abnormality of all this only occurring when I fell asleep. There were many hints, yet I was stupid enough to ignore every single one of them. Sakurai, Rusalka, Wilhelm, Zarathustra, the swapped head, two heads, intertwined, influencing the other, yet never facing one another. Wait, seriously? I was under the assumption that, Kasumi then being the two parts of the Caduceus didn't make any sense. Because I'm like thinking back on it, right? And there are a number of scenes where Kasumi and Ren are both present, right, interacting with somebody else. So it can't be that they're the same person, right? Like, unless Himuro is on it, because I guess Himuro and Sister Lisa, right? Either I was like misinterpreting those entire conversations, or Himuro and Sister Lisa are in on it to some degree, because we have definitely had conversations where Kasumi and Ren both interacted with Himuro, and then again with Sister Lisa, and then with Father Trifa. All of whom could be in on some big conspiracy, but like again, I feel like I'm stretching super far or super hard to make the theory make sense. Much like the sun and the moon, light and shadow. When one awoke, the other fell into slumber. One moved while the other's will came to the surface. A disassembling of individuality. An extremely convenient system where one controlled the other without either ever realizing their own acts. Caduceus, the staff of intertwining snakes. In other words, that meant
殺す役と食らう役が二手に分かれていたということ。サンが殺してあなたが魂を蓄える。結果強くなるのはあくまであなたで、彼女はそのための道具に過ぎない。
Alright, I take it all
な
back.
るほど。吸血鬼と下僕の関係によく似ている。
Take it all back, I'm a genius. Okay, so it's not like they're literally the same person, but they're two halves of the same supernatural entity. That makes sense. Alright, so I'm a genius. Kasumi kills people. Teo's a genius. Glad we're all on the same page now.
お見事。実に趣味が悪くて手段を選ばない策に私は感激しているわ。まさか一つの生異物に複数の使徒をストックするなんて。そんなことが可能だとは思わなかったし。少なくとも私たちには真似できないわね。副狩猟閣下の力にコンプレックスを抱いているベイやマレウスなんかには認めたくなかった事実と言える類でしょ。
Sakurai? How long had she been there? As I lay on my knees, she simply looked down on me, her expression bereft of sympathy or emotion.
ということだから藤井君。あとはあなたの好きにしなさい。
何？
言ったでしょ。この鬼ごっこ。一回戦目は私たちの乾杯みたい。勝者のあなたは堂々と景品を受け取ればいい。私は祝福しているのよ。負けず嫌いの年寄りたちがつまらない劣等感にこだわりすぎるのは迷惑だったし。これでようやくまっとうにゲームを始めることができそうだから。
Can't say I'm a huge fan of that prospect. What if we just, like, went back to school and stopped killing people, and then everything could go back to normal, and the Nazis could leave town, and we could, Yeah, no. That's not happening, is it?
実際、あなたがまだ弱い時に苛立った誰かが暴発するというのが一番良くない展開だったの。新参者の私以外はみんな副狩猟閣下を病的に恐れていたから。ネズミを捕まえるのに象打ち用のライフルを持ち出しかねない。そういう意味でこの展開は理想的。どうしても弱い時期ができるならさらに分裂させて弱すぎる域にまで落としてしまう。そうしておけばまずこちらのレーダーにかからないから。事実、私もベイもマレウスも一度あなたを見逃しているし、怪しいとは思っても確信が持てない。そうして後手を踏んでいるうちに 分けたものを一つに戻してそれなりの域に上げてしまう。ほんと、もう一度言うけど見事な手並みね。私たちの気性を理解した上で手玉に取ってる。正直副資料閣下が憎まれるわけがよく分かったわ。
Yeah, see, this is a part I'm still a little bit fuzzy on. I thought these guys and Mercurius were on the same side. Like, I understand that they don't like Mercurius, but I was under the impression that, like, Mercurius didn't actively hate them. Oh, Mercurius does actively hate them, right! That's what they were going on about earlier. Mercurius hates everyone! Okay, yeah, this makes more sense then, now. Although it's a little bit weird to me that Mercurius would, like, go out of his way to fuck with these guys. It's funny, certainly, but I'm surprised that Mercurius cares enough about them to intentionally mess with them.
だから
待てよ。
I interrupted before Sakurai could babble on any longer.
いきなり現れて、さっきから何言ってるんだお前。俺全然意味が。
わからないなんて嘘。もう気づいているんでしょ。ぼっとしてないで携帯かけてみればいいじゃない。景品もきっとあなたが来るのを待っているわよ。涙ぐましいじゃない。いつもあなたが寝ている間にあなたを強くしようと手を汚してくれるなんて。たとえ操り人形だとしてもそうそうできることじゃない。
私はあんたの味方だよ。
まあ初めて会ったあの時はあなたも無遊病していたみたいだけど。
辛い時は頼ってほしいな。
それ自体深いところじゃうすうす感づいていたっていう証拠なんじゃないかしら。彼女のことが心配で無意識に眠ったまま後を追ってしまうくらいなんだし。結果時が来るまで隠れ蓑に守られているべきあなたが私たちと接触したのはまあイレギュラーといえばイレギュラーよね。本来ならあの時怖い目に遭うのは彼女の方だったはず。
私はレンの力になりたいよ。
Wait, why is the voice line not playing? Well, when you think of it that way, you probably could have had as many substitutes for the executioner as you wanted. Even if Bay and Malleus had gone too far and killed them, a new decapitating murderer would have been born the following night. By doing that, you could have prevented yourself from going out into the open. Self-sacrificial love would be the phrase for that, I believe. That's weird.
結果時が来るまで隠れ蓑に守られているべきあなたが私たちと接触したのはまあイレギュラーといえばイレギュラーよね。今だって若干のダメージを共有しているみたいだし。察するにその直前起きてる時に二人の絆を確認し合うようなイベントでもあったんじゃ。
Wait, that's weird. That's like just for those two lines the voice isn't playing. Like, this line up here is working, and then this line down here is working, but it's like just these two. That's weird. I assume that's a bug and not like some weird, I don't know, bit of foreshadowing. I can't think of any context where that makes sense as foreshadowing. So, Occam's razor again states it's probably just a bug.
勝手にいなくなるなよ、旅人さん。
黙れ。
The hell was she even saying? She looked so smug when she said it too. Just who in the world was she talking about?
言ったでしょ。わからないなんて嘘。認めなさいよ。1たす1は2になるの。それを否定するのはバカのやること。
What if you're in base 1 though? Or base 2 rather? Then 1 plus 1 is 1, 0. Thank you very much. Then
俺はバカでいい。
バカが相手じゃ困るわね。あなたそんなことで戦えるとでも思っているの？まさか私たちが殺人犯の退治に来たとでも思っているんじゃないでしょうね。別に誰が何人殺そうが知ったことじゃないわよ。私たちはね、戦争をしに来たの。そのためにあなたが欲しい。
Yeah, this is the other thing that I'm confused about. Like, what is the purpose of this war? Like, you kill a bunch of people to get the swastikas, get a bunch of swastikas to summon Mephistopheles, and then there's a step that I'm a little bit fuzzy on, and then you overthrow the Chains of Fate. Little bit confused how war fits in to that whole plan.
だから乗ってもらうわよ藤井君。もうあなたにとっての日だまりなんかこの世界のどこにもない。上の意向次第ですぐに開戦となるかはわからないけど、遅かれ早かれあなたと私たちは敵対する。そのために最低限力をつけてもらわないといつまで経っても勝負が実装できないじゃない。まずは景品を受け取って2になって3になって4になって5になって、そうしてくれないと私も困るし。
How long does she plan to keep on rambling about this bullshit?
お前の事情なんか知ったことかよ。
じゃあここで1のまま死ぬ。何度も言うけど私以外の年寄りたちはコンプレックスの塊よ。あなたがコンマ1以下でも叩き潰して自分が上だと証明をしたがってる。
Here again, there's like random lines that don't have the voice playing. Like, whoever was doing QA on this game sort of dropped the ball. Like, this feels like a fairly major bug. Like, it feels like, unless I'm the only one who this is happening to, like, this feels like it would be very easy to catch, just playing through the game normally and various voice lines aren't playing. So, with any luck, there'll be a patch within a week or so, but for now, I guess, you'll just have to be, serenaded by my sultry voice. It would be best for you to assume that there won't be too many ideal chances to level up like this in the future. Even the Divine Vessel, who's been soft on you, will probably only show you mercy one more time. Even if I personally couldn't restrain myself, any more would surely incite the wrath of Bay and Malleus.
そうなった時、多分標的はあなただけじゃ済まなくなるわよ。彼女も当然その中には含まれていて。
Everyone around me would be targeted by these psychos.
この町が地図から消える。
黙れって言ってんだろ。
Though I made an attempt to grab her, Sakurai gracefully dodged it, putting some distance between us. She then heaved a bored sigh before continuing her monologue in a tone of indifference.
それを止めたいなら早く2になってしまえばいい。あなたがそうなることで彼女も普通に戻るだろうし。男の専売特許じゃない。女から奪い取ってものにするのは。
Hey now.
私たちが種に気づいてしまった以上、もう二手に分かれている意味はないし、これから先はあなたが一人でやればいい。彼女のことを思うなら殺し役をさっさと廃業させてあげなさい。それが終わるまでは浮気しちゃダメよ藤井君。抱きしめるなら私より彼女が先ね。ちょっと焼けるけどそこは譲るわ。だってあの子、あなたが1週間も禁欲なんかしていたせいで暴発しちゃったんだから。追いかけて抱きしめて慰めてあげないと男が廃るってものじゃないの。じゃあ頑張ってかっこいいとこ見せてちょうだい。
待て。
I reached out for her again, but Sakurai vanished before I could grab her. Judging from her final words, she wasn't going back, but rather to keep watch somewhere. Apparently.
くそ。
The hell? What made her think she could just spout off whatever crap she wanted? What was all this shit about a prize or whatever? Seriously.
くそ。
I nearly smashed my cell phone into the ground, but managed to rein in my anger at the last second. Right. Sakurai didn't have to say anything. Deep down, I'd already noticed her strange behavior as of late. Still, I couldn't just accept that. If I was to label her insane, then saying that I was crazy seemed a far more reasonable answer. Kasumi was sane. She was different from idiots like Shiro and me. I believed that. Wanted to believe that. And that nature of hers was exactly what made me treasure her more than anyone else. So I couldn't just throw this cell phone away. If I broke it here, it'd be like admitting I was scared to find out the truth. That would be an offense. And above all else, an insult to Kasumi. I had to put an end to this ridiculous situation to protect her honor. I gritted and ground my teeth hard, causing blood to pour out my mouth. Jesus, dude. I dialed the number Kasumi gave me earlier, while getting irritated at my finger from shaking from the cold. Come on, hurry up, please, just pick up already. If I can just hear your cheerful voice,
くそ、何してんだあいつ。
Growing impatient, I broke off into a run, the cell phone still ringing in my hand. By doing this, I'd know when I was getting closer to her. This late into the night, the sound of rainfall was the only thing filling my ears. Where was she? Where'd she go? I wanted to see her face and hear her voice to tell her I was okay. I dashed through the streets in the rain for several minutes, my clothes completely drenched. The minutes I spent like this could have been either much longer or shorter than how it felt. I'd grown so impatient I could no longer accurately grasp the flow of time. What would I say when I found her? How would I look at her? How was I supposed to act? Could a guy of so few words and feelings like me get across my emotions properly? My body cooled, heat left me, my breath turned white, and my heart raced with impatience. I kept panting and running, only to trip up in a puddle of water. I fell pathetically to the ground. I placed my hands on the ground in an attempt to stand up, but my hands were so slippery from the water that it was hard to do. Damn it, what kind of water was this? All sticky, smelly, and heavy like mud? It's not water, buddy. Those are people that your girlfriend murdered. I'm gonna go with, just as a hypothesis. My clothes were getting dirty, my hands a mess. What was this eerie sensation, this unsettling color? This red, blood-like, he says. Why wasn't this a dream? This was neither a hallucination nor an illusion. I wasn't deluded, and I certainly wasn't just imagining things. The scent of rusty iron, particular to blood, pierced my nostrils as I heard that familiar ringtone. What the hell? Was this some kind of joke? If so, I wasn't laughing. If this pool of blood all belonged to one person, then why was her cell phone ringing right next to it?
いや、待てよ。
She must have just dropped her phone around here by accident. She always had been surprisingly clumsy and careless, so that had to be it. Yeah. She's probably freaking out right about now, wondering where she'd lost it.
そうだ。
That had to be what happened. Man, she was such a handful. Oh well, I figured I'd just take it with me and bring it back to her. I'd already grown used to being a victim of her clumsiness anyway. Thanks to that, it'd be harder to find her. Ah well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'd search the entire city all night if I had to. Screw tomorrow's classes. But I had to find Kasumi's phone first. It was probably lying around in those bushes there, no doubt about it. That had to be it. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it at all. But even though I desperately wished for that to be the case...
レン来たんだ。
The last morsel of hope I still had was left The last morsel of hope I still had left was shattered by her voice, its echo filling my eardrums and cranium. Only one thought still remained in my mind. That there was no God. Even if there was, he'd probably long since died. Because if he was still alive, I'd kill him with my own two hands. Why did something like this happen? Why was I seeing this? I felt like gouging out my own eyes, wanting desperately to erase this memory. To me, at the very least, the sight felt equal to the most maddening of nightmares. Dull eyes, a blank expression, a stiff body, my childhood friend soaked in blood and rain. Who was that random person lying there without a head?
何してんだよ、お前。
My voice sounded like someone else's, and though it trembled ever so slightly, it remained blindingly clear. About as clear as this whole situation. Someone had died. They'd been murdered, thoroughly and relentlessly. No doubt about it. Kasumi stood right next to them, her whole body wet with spurts of blood. She was carrying a severed head in one hand. No matter how one looked at it, there was only one conclusion to be made. If you...
ってないよな。
Kasumi returned my unbelievably stupid question with a blank stare. She tilted her head to the side, causing the one in her hand to wobble.
お前何もやってないよな。たまたまここでそんな変なの見つけたからなんとなくその好奇心で。
Oh yeah, every time I wander across dead bodies, I just make sure to grab their decapitated head and bring it with me. You know, for company! The more I talked, the more I wanted it to die. Something not even I believed could never work as my trump card. Something not even I believed could never work as my trump card. I felt self-loathing well up in my chest with every word I uttered in a desperate attempt to deny this situation. God damn it. It had already been set in stone. There was nothing I could do about it. Kasumi Ayase was the killer. But still, so what? I knew her well. Kasumi Ayase was Ren Fuji's childhood friend. She was not someone who would kill dozens of people. Even if her hands had been tainted, I didn't believe that she could ever do that out of her own will. According to Sakurai, she was akin to a marionette used to provide me with souls. Experience. A puppet.
だったら何が悪いってんだ。
Laws didn't matter. Morals didn't mean a damn. I wouldn't let anyone in this world blame Kasumi. She'd done nothing wrong. On my scales, protecting Kasumi's individual life weighed 1,000,000 times heavier than the chagrin of the murdered, or the pain and sorrow over their bereaved families. They could go to hell for all I cared. The living mattered more than the dead. If I didn't protect her now, another decisive push would be all it took to send her falling. So,
帰ろうかすみ。風邪ひくぞ。
I stopped dialing Kasumi's number and took a step forward, my guard completely down. I saw no reason to be on alert, and yet... Something invisible sliced into my cheek. The finale of our prologue draws nigh. I've offered this opera to both my sworn friend and beloved. Go now, my substitute. Become the lead actor and dance upon its stage to your heart's content.
どうして
What just happened? There were about 5 meters between Kasumi and me, so we couldn't have touched each other physically. And it wasn't like she had thrown anything either. And yet there was blood pouring down my torn cheek. The pain I had felt for but a moment was no doubt caused by the sharp blade of sorts. How in the world did... No, the bigger question is the why of it. Why did Kasumi...
男の専売特許じゃない。女から奪い取ってものにするのは。これから先はあなたが一人でやればいい。
Sakurai's voice replayed in my head. In other words, I had to stop Kasumi while she was still in this state and prove myself to be the master. I gained some distance between us by instinctively dodging the invisible thing, but the chaos enveloping my mind had yet to let up.
彼女のことを思うなら殺し役をさっさと廃業させてあげなさい。
Sakurai urged me to claim it for myself. If I was to take those words at face value, she probably meant that I had to render Kasumi powerless. And I would have loved to do that even without having to end up in a situation like this. A single glance at Kasumi's dull, unfocused eyes made it clear she was in a trance. The fact that she attacked me in a state like that could only mean that she was being controlled. Unless I cut her strings now, she'd just start killing again. At the very least, I had to prevent that from happening. But how?
レア
Kasumi sluggishly raised her right hand with the same blank expression as before.
ちゃんと避けてね。
Another invisible slash. Once again, I relied on my instincts to leap away, but ended up receiving a slash to the chest this time around. And it didn't stop there. 4 more slashes followed. I couldn't quite confirm this due to their invisible state, but a direct hit from the decapitating slashes that merely grazed me a moment before would no doubt kill me instantly. From its vicious ferocity, lethal prowess, and odd obstinacy to constantly aim for the neck, regardless of the angle, I concluded this blade to be that of a guillotine. Much like the one in my dream, it was an instrument of executions that existed for the sole purpose of beheading its victims. I kept rolling and avoiding the decapitating blade, finding myself cornered by its incessant barrage of slashes. The slashes, traces of which I felt on my skin, seemed haphazard and disorganized, hardly something I could attribute to a diligent kendo student like Kasumi. That, however, made them difficult to predict, and I soon found my body whittling down with each slash I failed to dodge. Each burning, freezing, and numbing slash that hit me sent me another step closer to death. Surges of unnaturally intense pain ran through me. They were clad in deadly poison, which meant they weren't simply cutting my flesh. They reaped and devoured something far more basic, something fundamental for all living beings to exist. As such, even a mere graze would continue to rob me of life without halt, ultimately resulting in my death. Amidst the maddening pain and fear that made me want to scream, every single drop of falling rain felt like a storm in itself. But no matter how much pain and fear I endured, that self-centered reason would not drive me to back down. And at this rate,
どうしてるの
Kasumi gave me a curious look when she realized that I'd stopped moving. There was no doubt that I'd die instantly if she attacked now, but I shot out my fear with all my might. My heart burned with feelings far stronger than that.
できねえよ。お前に手なんかあげられない。
Those were my true feelings. Nothing else mattered.
俺のせいなんだろう。俺が変なやつだからたまたま近くにいたお前がそんな目に遭ってんだろう。だったらお前は被害者だ。
If only I hadn't seen it on that fateful day. Kasumi shouldn't have gone through any of this. She should have been enjoying her normal life the same way she always had. She did nothing wrong. She was sane. She simply ended up drawing the short end of the stick by getting caught up in this situation. Okay, so now that I had my, 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 my previous crackpot conspiracy theory validated, I'm now deeply suspicious of Himuro. Because Himuro was the one who gave us those tickets to the museum that our protagonist would have never otherwise gone to, right? So, there's a non-zero chance that Himuro, like, intentionally tried to get us to, like, go make friends with the guillotine. Like, it's not a certain thing by any means. It could just be a coincidence. But it's like they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when there's an oddly pushy girl giving you tickets to a museum that has a evil artifact in it that will brainwash your best friend and turn her into a serial killer, there's I don't know what the fire equivalent in this analogy is, but it's something anyway. And I was supposed to attack her for something like that? I couldn't use magic, superpowers, or hypnotism. If I was to render Kasumi powerless in her current rampage, all I could do was punch her or something. But I couldn't bring myself to do that. The one who put Kasumi through all this pain was me, so I couldn't resort to violence with her no matter the reason. If my death could bring Kasumi back to normal, I would gladly bite off my own tongue. And this wouldn't end until I stopped her? Screw that! There was no way in hell I could do that. Not a chance!
目覚ましてくれよ。お前が正気になってくれたら俺何でも言うこと聞くから。正直たまにうざいとかうるさいとか思ってたけど、それでもお前には感謝してる。これ以上こんなものは見たくないんだ。かすみ、頼むから。
I wanted to believe that her lack of response meant that my voice was getting through to her, that she had lost her willingness to fight. What was wrong with having the naive hope that she'd go back to normal once I reached out my hand and touched her on the shoulder? Even if it resulted in this. My right arm was cut from the space between my middle and ring fingers all the way up to the tip of my shoulder. I needed to hold back my screams. Men weren't supposed to make a fuss. This pain was nothing. I took it as punishment for worrying all this time without ever noticing what she was up to like a total dumbass. I'd just like to point out that, Ben's, like, conceptions of gender norms are perhaps a little bit aggressive. No, this was nowhere near enough. This spoiled idiot needed to take responsibility for his actions.
追いかけて抱きしめて慰めてあげないと男が廃るってものじゃないの
Agreed. Any bastard that ran away from this pain and fear was no true man. I was annoyed to be agreeing with her, but I'd come to realize what I had to do. I would get right up to Kasumi without hurting her or fear getting hurt, then embrace her. I didn't expect to earn her forgiveness with just that, but unfortunately, with my brain all out of whack, that was all I could think of. I'd be damned if I let this end the same way it did with Shiro. I wasn't going to lose anyone else. The dearer you held something, the more painful it was to realize you'd never get it back once lost. Holding the wrists of my torn right arm, I slowly stood up. I'd already lost a severe amount of blood, but none of it mattered. I took a step. And another. Completely ignoring the flying invisible blade, I began to approach Kasumi. Even if my arms, legs, and even head were sliced off, I wasn't going to piss my pants at the sight of this fake guillotine. If I was its true master, then it had no place acting like it was better than me.
女を盾に取るような真似してないでかすみを離せ。俺の方に移ってこい。そいつは何の関係もないだろう。
Right as I said that,
どうして
Kasumi abruptly began to mutter something.
なんでいつもそんなこと
She spoke in such a quiet voice I had trouble picking it all up. But her tone carried energy, too. It felt nothing like the monotone manner of speaking she'd used up until now. She raised her chin, looked into my eyes, and...
どうしてなんでいつもそんなことばかり言うのよ。どうしてレンは私に気を使ってばっかり。やだよ、そんなの嬉しくないよ。
Kasumi uttered the words like in a delirium, but her voice was steady, a hint of a smile on her lips. Her eyes were still as hazy and lifeless as before, her expression lost on the boundary between sanity and madness.
ねえ、そんなに私空気読めてないのかな。大事なところであんたの邪魔とかしちゃうのかな。私じゃ役に立てないのかな。私にできることはないのかな。私があんたを助けることってできないのかな。ちょっとだけ悔しいよ。何か悩んでるくせに教えてくれない？
Were those her true feelings?
シロいなくなっちゃったし、レン態度に出さなくてもきっと辛いんだと思ったから、私頑張ろうと思ったんだよ。だからいつも考えてたの。どうしたらレンは喜んでくれるのかな、どうしたらレンは笑ってくれるのかな、どうしたらレンは私を。態度よそよそしいんだもん。冗談でごまかしたって。私をすぐのけ者にしたり、そんなのは嫌だよ。
すみ。
The decapitating gale died down. My body might have stopped receiving wound after wound, but her words pierced my heart like a spear.
シロの時と同じだよ。関係ないって私に何も教えてくれない。ねえ、どうして？
That wasn't something I could answer, because I felt it was something she couldn't get involved with. I never once taken her presence lightly, ever. Quite the opposite. It was because I valued her that I...
同じだよ。私いつも悔しかった。私はいつも蚊帳の外に置き去りで、シロとレンが羨ましい。
俺とあいつはお前がそんなこと考えるような。
それでも羨ましかったの。形なんかどうでもいい。ただ特別なんだってことが羨ましいの、憧れるの。私もそこに入りたかったの。だから頑張って頑張って頑張って頑張って。でもどうしていいかわからなくてわからなくてわからなくてわからなくて。だったらせめて私は自分にできることをやりたいって。何か一つ何でもいいから私にしかできないことでレンの力になれたらいいなって。ずっとあんたが入院してから今までずっとそんなことを考えてたらね。
And the solution you came up with was to murder people? Kasumi sounded like she was about ready to break down in tears. There was nothing wrong with anything she'd said. She simply worried over not being able to find a way. Most people were like that. There was no easy way to tell what the best possible choice was in a given situation. Therefore, you consider foreknowledge supreme. As Kasumi wondered, lost and confused, which path of the unknown she ought to take. Something extraordinary. Something that should have been left alone. Something no child of man should have lent an ear to. Flooded into the crevice of her heart and mind like a venom.
私こんなになっちゃったよ。
My vision wavered, my breathing stopped. I found myself struck with the urge to rip my heart out of my chest. My rage had reached a critical peak. I gritted my teeth to the point of breaking them, causing cracks to spread all across my jawbones. I couldn't forgive myself for driving her to this state. And likewise, I couldn't forgive this powerlessness of mine. And so I made a heartfelt wish. A wish for power. Power that could save her. Oblivious to what that truly meant.
私今ならレンの力になれるよね。
She unleashed another decapitating slash. It approached the nape of my neck, rushing up from the lower left. I could clearly make out the trail left by the path of its slash from start to finish. I didn't dodge it. There was no need to. For this had belonged to me from the very beginning. I had to claim it for my own, in order to ensure that Kasumi never did something like this ever again. And so, what I heard next was not the sound of cleaving flesh, but that of Kasumi's astonished gasp. The invisible guillotine soaring through the air evaporated a split second before it reached my neck.
なんで
Once again, the invisible blade soared toward me from every angle imaginable. Left, right, diagonal, or above. All at pretty much the same time, its only aim my exposed neck.
嘘。
In all honesty, I did nothing. But for some reason, the blade wouldn't reach me. I wasn't doing it consciously. I didn't try to make it happen. But right now, for some reason, as if it were completely natural. I caught the flash coming from the side with my flashed right hand. But my arm wasn't severed. Instead, the wound closed up around the blade, melding with it.
なんで なんでどうして？
I had no idea. However, there was one thing I could say for sure.
お前にこれ以上そんなことをしてほしくないんだよ。力にならずっと前からなってるよ。お前が分かってないだけで俺ずいぶん救われてる。
I wasn't lying. In particular, her presence over the past few days kept my mind stable. She was a symbol of the hopelessly boring yet wonderfully mundane day-to-day life I held so dear. A ray of sunlight I never wished to be robbed of.
お前がそこにいてくれないと俺は帰ってこれなくなる。だから頼むよ。お前はこっちに来ないでくれ。わがまま言って悪いけどそうしてくれなきゃ俺はこの先
Wouldn't be able to fight those freaks. Regardless of what it took, I wouldn't be able to teach those bastards a lesson for laying waste to our day-to-day lives.
じゃあ
Once Kasumi was up close, she looked up and into my eyes before continuing. And just for a moment, I saw a look of self-mockery on her face.
私はやっぱり蚊帳の外ってことじゃないの。
The moment she uttered that, all strength left her body. I reached out, catching her before she could fall.
なんかもうバカみたい。
Our bodies were cold, perhaps due to the continuous downpour. Yet the little warmth that did reach me felt wonderful beyond expression.
ごめんな本当こんなことになっちまって許してくれとか言えないよな。でも大丈夫だから心配するな。あとは全部俺が絶対何とかするから。
I feel like you're not really picking up on her concerns, dude. Like, her concern is that she's being left out of the loop, and you're literally saying, don't worry, I'll take care of everything else. Like, have you been paying any attention for the past 20 minutes? Like, any at all?
レンのバカ。結局全然分かってないよ。
Yeah, I'm with Kasumi about this.
私あんたが一人で無茶するのもうやめてって言ってるのにどうして譲ってくれないかな。
仕方ないだろ性分なんだ。
I knew it to be a cliche, but I couldn't help but feel that this was the nature of men. They were cowards who would try to act tough, put on a show of false bravado, play it cool, and even take a bullet for a girl. I couldn't let it be the other way around. I wouldn't accept someone like that as a man, nor would I see any value in their lives. Yet, dude, you're, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I do know how I feel about that. Like, if I was about to take a bullet, and a girl was, offering to take it for me, all I'm saying is, I would be grateful. In the end, we found no answer for the endless argument between Kasumi's dissatisfaction and my wish. But the one thing I could say for a fact was that above all else, we both shared the same fear of losing that which we cared about. In that case, I had but one thing to do. I had no idea if she'd believe what I was about to tell her, given how many promises I'd broken until this point, but
帰ってくるから
saying that, making a sworn oath, was all I could do right now.
絶対俺戻ってくるから。お前はなんていうか留守守っててくれると助かるな。
もう勝手なことばっかり。ほんと面倒だよね。だけどそんなレンだから。
Kasumi's voice sounded peaceful now, almost like an evil spirit had been exorcised from her. As I held her in my embrace, I felt something from her body enter mine. It flooded into my cut right arm, sealing up the wound like it was driving a wedge into it. I felt the sensation of a foreign object entering my arm, the sensation of receiving power, coupled with the dread of no longer being truly human. More importantly, I was relieved that Kasumi no longer had it. I'd no more reason to worry. Kasumi was no longer involved with this.
絶対勝手にいなくならないでよ。約束だから。
As Kasumi finally lost consciousness, I firmly embraced her body. So I would never forget her warmth, so I would never lose this resolve. Tonight, I had obtained power, and stepped out of the sunlight and into the shadow.
そして彼と彼女はつがいとなった。喜んでもらえるかな、マルグリット。そして、我が親愛なる獣殿。これより彼は私の代替として機能する。このシャンバラにスワスチカを完成させ、 怒りの火を演出する。まあもっともいささか善とは多難であるが、これ以上の介入は無粋であろうし、私はおとなしく観客に身をやつそう。
Interesting. So maybe Mercurius doesn't even have an endgame. Maybe his endgame is just like, I want to watch people do funny stuff because it's funny.
差し当たって問題があるとすればクリストフだが、
素晴らしい。
あの男もまたどうして私の好みに合うか。
実に有意義。これで第一のスワスチカが完成し、副資料閣下の穴も埋まりました。準備はおおむね整ったと言えるでしょう。ああいや、しかしまだ早いしまだ甘い。あとほんの少しだけ、最低でも形勢を覚えるくらいにはなっていただかないと困るのですが、どうでしょうね、そのあたり。
Please stop making up words. Like, I recognize it's probably German. So it's like not made up, but like... Come on. Shiva clapped with excess enthusiasm as he held the guillotine. The blade had vanished. The priest was bleeding an unnatural amount of blood from his hands, feet, and flank. He wasn't injured. No, this was his stigmata, a type of infectious spiritual ailment caused by a higher will. Wherein lay the cause of this phenomenon? True, the priest was bleeding in the exact same places as Christ during his crucifixion, yet Trifa himself was by no means a sacred man. Furthermore, the museum air was stagnant with something sinister, something indescribable. For instance, indeed, like a burnt field left behind by a bombing that robbed hundreds and thousands of their lives. The stench of death, not unlike that of abandoned battlefields, lingered heavy in the air. Perhaps calling it a swirling mist of miasma would be a touch more apt. No man possessed of a sane man would wish to remain here for any longer than a handful of seconds.
レオンハルトの報告次第になりますが、場合によっては間を置かず、次のスワスチカを起こすことになるやもしれません。となれば、誰を捧げるのが望ましいか。正直私も、そろそろ馬鹿し合いには疲れてきているのですがね。
Blood kept trickling down from his wounds without halt, spreading all across the floor. The amount he had lost would no doubt kill a lesser man, yet not only did the priest exhibit no signs of collapsing, he stared ecstatically at his own stigmata. This was an oath, something to be proud of, the marks of submission inflicted upon his flesh by the lance of Longinus, howled in the night. For it was a sign of loyalty carved into him by their lord and master, the golden beast.
このうずき。いずれハイドリ秘境がお戻りになられる。その時、醜態を晒さぬよう気を引き締めて参りましょう。何せ、61年ぶりになるのですから、不手際があって処刑されてはたまりません。
The priest reverently made the sign of the cross, the way his words were uttered, betraying a touch of intentionality.
主よ、彼らに永遠の安息を与え、絶えざる光もて照らしたまえ。褒め歌を捧げるはシオンにてふさわしく、主への請願はエルサレムにて果たされん。我が祈りを聞きたまえ。生きとし生ける者、すべては主に帰せん。彼らに永遠の安息を与え、絶えざる光もて照らしたまえ。
His requiem broke the silence. Whoever the address may have been, one thing remained clear and evident. That the miasma blanketing the place grew denser and denser by the second.
今宵はここまで。さあ、忙しくなります。面白くなります。前座はこれで終わりました。楽しみましょう。歌いましょう。踊りましょう。力の限り。ちわくちわく。胸が高鳴る。では一刻も早く、次なる手を打たなければいけませんね。
Turning around, the tall priest left in a hurry. His inability to restrain laughter likely a sign that war had, at long last, come to the town of Suahara. And so, I carried the unconscious Kasumi back home. And that, I believe, is where we went. I don't know how words work. That is where we are going to stop for the day. We will see what we do when we get home on Monday, I suppose. Hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I will catch you next time. Later.